we're in a very precarious situation up there. I don't think you can see it, but there's a black lab letting everyone know that it's in charge. He gave up and ran back inside. It's a shame. I was going to give him a bone. I see why, because some lady's walking her dog in my private camping area right here. So we're going to do some stealth camping tonight. Yeah, I know, it looks not very rustic, but trust me, it is. Look, I have this to cover a picnic table, and I have a fire pit, and then I'm going to put my tent right here. And got to be careful, though. You have all these other dogs. It has to be very, very stealthy. That's what I understand stealth camping to be. And then, I don't know, I mean, I gotta look out for wildlife coming in from the water. Could be dangerous here. So, let's get the tent set up. It's been a while, so hopefully I can do this right. Right as I say that, the first thing I'm taking out is my chair. That's right. I might get tired. You know what I mean? I mean, this is rough. This is roughing it for me. All right, the chair is set up. It's very important. We'll have a fire later. I'll show you. It'll be really impressive. You guys are going to be like, Jonathan, we need you on our next camping trip. I was trying to see if this was actually my chair. I left a chair at my sister's, and then I'm pretty sure this is mine because it's uncomfortable. And that's what it should be, right, when you're camping? I'm trying to keep track of the number of dogs I see here in this campground. This is not really a tent campground. Yeah, see, I'm trying to stealthily camp among all these glampers, you know what I mean? That was intense, guys. But look, I think I got it up. I think it's working correctly. I don't know, it looks like it's down a little bit, but look. Got my camping buddies with me right here. Got my pillow. Got a mat in there, a sleeping bag, and then another blanket. And you can't complain about the view, right? Whew. It's so quiet, I don't think anyone's gonna hear me. I really am in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't look right to me. Just this one part where it's slanted down. Huh. I wish that Hoppy Camper was here to straighten me out. I mean, he's the one who inspired me to do this. I mean, I even grabbed an adult beverage in his honor. Some high-end stuff, actually. Well, it's actually in honor of my twin brother. This is something that he would do. He was obsessed with the best, if you know what I mean. Well, for someone who hasn't used a tent in 2 years, I figured out what the issue was. The front flap things actually come out, and I forgot about that because I used to have another tarp that would come over it. So we're all set. And meanwhile, look at the sailboat coming in. Wow, I feel like quite the camper. I'm even in just my socks right now. Back to our seat. Okay, let's talk, guys. Let's talk. So how many people here camp? Tell me about it. I always think that I should be a camper, and then the weather turns bad. Or I feel like maybe I should have like a, like an RV. But on a night like this, I think we'll be okay. Now, here's a deep question for you, because there's no way I'm drinking this whole thing. I'm only gonna have a few sips. I bought a half a gallon of lemonade. It's more for me. I drank a couple sips in honor of my brother. So here's the question. Can I use this to put out the fire? Please put in the comments whether I can or not. Oh, I just realized that's not going to be very helpful. All right, well, we'll see what happens when I try to put out the fire. I think I'm going to show you the rest of the campground. But before we do that, it's kind of funny. So there's some people at a picnic table. Nowhere near me, of course. But this one woman, I guess, doesn't realize that it's super quiet. So she's the loud voice. We all know someone with a loud voice. You might be the one with a loud voice as you're listening. I think nothing annoys me more for students when they talk so loud, and you're like, dude, the person's right in front of you. You know what I mean? Of course you know what I mean. It's like we're not all fighting over who's getting what at the dinner table, right? Loving the view. And it's not hot out. I mean, it's 80 now, but with the breeze coming off the water, it's gonna be a good night's sleep. That was something that I was worried about, actually. Here's the question: How many people take showers when they go camping? I'm trying to remember when I was in Pittsburgh camping 2 years ago. I think I did, just because they said it was free. And yeah, I mean, you saw me work up a sweat putting that tent together. Woo! Certainly, if I was up to it. Oh, here. You want to go down the water real quick? Why not? Like seriously, I don't think anyone's gonna camp in those other sites tonight. So when I say stealth, it's like I'm kidding, but I'm not. We literally are just by ourselves. It's awesome. Look at the anchor right here. I don't know if you can see it. So obviously the water comes up enough that someone has to connect. Water's starting to come in a little bit. Yay! And it will come up over all this seaweed, I imagine. My guess is all the way to here, because that's where the water line is. This has got to be one of the most picturesque spots that I've ever been for, let's say, for camping. Well, this is my third time camping, so yes, it would be. But I'm saying just like from a peacefulness aspect. So it's funny, what I did realize though is where we just came from is like the beach area, quote unquote. So yeah, we'll have to be, hopefully they won't go down in the middle of the night. I don't think they will. So you'll note it's not a very big campground, far from it actually. And each of these, they have different price ranges. Like, if I remember right, the middle I think is like $40 a night. This is $45 next to the pond. And then I think the ones right on the water are $50. So it's funny how some people are not there, but some people, what they'll do is they'll be here for a whole week, which is a great price. I mean, think about it, $300 for the week. And you just set up here for your location and come and go, explore the area. Duckies right there. I mean, ducks, sorry, I don't want to confuse you with the plural. And they have a laundry room, which is very nice. $1.50 to do your wash. Only registered campers only, so clearly there's people in town or those apartments that come down trying to do it. And then, yeah, right here we have our bathrooms. You see, they're very nice, actually. I'm gonna go right here. Time to take a shower. All right, come on, let's get this done. Decent pressure. That water pressure was great. Like, there wasn't a timer, and you didn't have to pay for it, and it was warm. Cool. Wow, this place is scoring more and more points. There are a lot of places here. I'm seeing numerous vehicles from Texas, South Carolina, and Georgia. It's like they just picked a spot and they're like, let's go all the way north. Let's go as far north and as far east as we possibly can. Well, you guys did it. And look at my spot, waiting patiently for me. You know, it is pretty quiet here. But I'll say it's so quiet that when you hear anyone talking, it seems magnified. I noticed right before we're gonna start our fire momentarily, because I don't want to be up past 9. I want to read. But this spot right here, even though there's 3 campsites, 1, 2, 3, and well, mine's the stealthy one. But I appear to be camouflaged well because everyone's walking their dog right by my camp without stopping. But what I was going to say is that, yeah, this appears to be the path right here. And people like to do their laps, which is why that dog was flipping out earlier. Because the pond, I guess, is a scenic little spot. And what I noticed, I mentioned it, actually I didn't mention it to you guys. So the ducks came up right here. You can actually see the little, like, kind of like where it's like matted down. The ducks came up right here, and then they waddled down that way. And then I saw them swim away because I guess they decided that the tide had come in enough and it was time to go back out. So even now, I can see them as a family in the middle doing their thing. In fact, I'll show you. And I hate when the sun is in this direction because I always get this camera. I can see my reflection of the camera. So the ducks waddled this way. I think sometimes they waddled, that's the way they went today, but they clearly have waddled this way before and this way. Because you can see where it's tracked down. It's actually really, really cool. All right, let me show you where the ducks are right now. That's the paddle boater. Hold on. Look for it. They're right there. I don't know if you guys can see them or not. It's like a family of them doing their thing. All right, speaking of family, these two were with me the first time we went camping ever. So we're going to light this fire and see what happens. Oh, what's that? Do I have flint and steel? Of course I have flint and steel. Right here, baby. Flint and steel. Pay. Oh, come on. Look at this. Look at this magic happening, guys. Look. But I didn't even need lighter fluid. Woo! Amazing stuff right here. Woo! Look at that. With my bare hands. You guys impressed? I would be. Look at that. Safety first, too. Wow. Amazing. Sometimes I even impress myself. The first time, so 2 years ago, during COVID, on our way up here, because those two came with me, we went to a campground first before we came up here to Lubec, and it was 95 degrees. It was ridiculous. But where we were, it was right on the water. It was similar to this, but it was near Rockland. No, it was in Wiscasset, Maine. And anyway, it was freaking so windy. It was so windy, I couldn't get the fire started. I actually had brought matches, and it was ridiculous. It didn't work. The wood would not light. I put newspaper in there and some other stuff, and it just would not work. Finally, it got so bad, stuff was blowing around so much, I grabbed my gallon of water, and I just flushed it all out. And I told my brother-in-law about it, and he thought it was so funny. So I vowed next time I go camping, we wouldn't have that problem. I also got lighter fluid last time. And look at this. The bugs are coming out right now. What a pain. Oh, and because I didn't have a mallet, I was using this log. This log is not the best thing to use as a mallet. Just wanted you guys to know that. Oh, and as the fire burns, got myself a treat. An ice cream sandwich. Yeah. No, they didn't sponsor me. The Mountain House food did not sponsor me, so if this is any good, I'll let you... Well, we'll find out right now. Okay. Throw that in the fire. Here we go. Here we go. Anticipation's killing me. It tastes like pure sugar. I mean, I can taste the vanilla part of it. It's actually not that bad. Except it's not cold. At all. Huh. Well, cheers. Fire's actually working out real well right now. Look. I'm shocked. It actually reminded me of a story. Look at the sun. Look at that. Starting to set. Finally. And it's cool because the campground's quiet again. Not that it was loud, but that's what happens when you deal with me. So, I want to tell you a story. It deals with fires, actually, so it's kind of funny. I remember as I'm watching the flames from this fire right here, and I'm getting the soot on my fingers, and I'm throwing stuff in there, it made me laugh because I remember back in college, I was dating this girl, and I thought it'd be romantic to light a fire at my parents' house. So I remember it was like a Friday night, and I got some wood. Maybe it was their wood. Like, I don't know, but I thought it was just, it would be a nice thing. And so I light the fire in the fireplace, thinking I'm doing everything right. Smoke then starts to come out of the fireplace, and it's everywhere. The fire alarm goes off. The smoke detector. My stepmom comes downstairs, and I think my dad no, actually, no, yeah, it was my stepmom. And she's like, "You didn't open the flume." And I was like, "What's that?" I just thought that when you lit a fire, it just automatically went up. I didn't realize that chimneys had like something that blocked the air. I think it's because of all those years of thinking that Santa could just slide right down, which I still think he can. He must just have some reverse button to adjust the flume. But the point is, I didn't even know about the flume. It's also why that my family says I have no common sense. Anyway, we fixed the flume. We opened it. Smoke went away, and we had a fire. But it just makes me laugh. It's one of those memories that it's like when you don't remember how you do, like the first time you're doing something, you don't remember. You have to learn, right? So it's like, sure, I didn't use flint and steel tonight. Sure, I didn't use real wood, but I got my fire going, and this is good enough for me. I don't need a fire to go for 3 hours. I just wanted something for the mood, for the ambiance, watch the sunset, and then crawl into the tent. So, for me, it's a perfect evening. And that reminds me, have any of you ever done that before? Like, how many people that are watching, when you lit a fire before, have you screwed up? Anyone? Anyone? Has anyone burned down a house? I mean, I haven't done that, but I mean, maybe you have. It'll make me feel better. I've waited a long time, and the seals are here. They're right there. Come on, buddy, come back up. Come on, honey. Can you guys see the head? There he is. Ah. If it's not a seal, it's a sea monster. So to show a comparison, as we're looking at this beautiful bay right now, this side of the bay anyway. So the anchor is completely covered now. Water is almost up to where I said it would be. And some seals have come in. And it's interesting too, you can see like the movement of fish right there. I think it's fish because that wasn't there before. How cool is that? And while I try to enjoy the view right here, I turn my head and look at what we see. Yes, the people doing their laps, but there's the moon in the background. And the choir, that dog just singing to us. How sweet. I like how this woman and her husband are sitting out there with the dog. And she's like, "Why are you barking?" Well, why don't you turn your head, lady, and look. because you have the lap of people having to do their dog walks right now. It is pretty cool. I'm watching, like, it's not just a current. There's obviously fish coming in right here, and that's what's attracting the seal. I like the fact that as the sun's setting over here, the moon is rising on this side. If I had planned ahead, you can barely see it with my camera. You can't see it with any of my cameras well, but it's right there. I'm pointing at it. Right there. If I had been proactive enough, if I was staying here another night, what I would do is I'd time it correctly now that I know the moon rises over there, and I'd go over to that beach we were at in my other video and sit there and watch it rise. Beautiful country. Wow. Now she's going, huh? Look at that. And in case you're wondering how I was so awesome to get that with my one log, I picked up this rock right here and just threw it on top of it, and it broke the thing up into many pieces, and that's why now it's going like a bat out of hell. Hey, meanwhile, look above me. It's the moon. And see, even now, I'm all by myself, no other tents. And what I was going to tell you guys, we actually have some waves coming in very, very gently now, right on my line. But one thing that I was going to tell you, and it's kind of funny, I think, is that, actually it's not funny, it's just they close their desk here at 6 p.m. So if you're going to check in to get a campsite, it has to be before that. So at least on Sunday. So I'm good. It's just going to be me here tonight. Yeah. It's still not completely dark yet. It's great. I love it. I was going to say, one thing that I'm really, really liking, I want to show you guys. We're going to go down to the water. I'm going to go over it one more time. I think the fire will be okay. As I'm sitting here, you know, I'm not thinking about the first people, the first settlers in the area. I continue to think about the First Nation, the Wabanaki and the Passamaquoddy. I think it's because when I've visited Moose Island, which is where the city of Eastport is, and which is made up of a chain of a bunch of islands, but the Passamaquoddy tribe, back in 1795, they made a peace treaty with Massachusetts, and Massachusetts gave them some land near, right next to the city of Eastport. In fact, even for today, if you drive in, you drive through the reservation. And then there's also other pockets in what is now Maine here, where there is tribal land, especially for them to go and do for the hunting season, for the bears specifically. And but I think just sitting here in the stillness as the bugs come down and are gonna like eat the hell out of me in a moment, I'm picturing them in their canoes coming through this way, because the Passamaquoddy Bay is right over there, and so it's just kind of cool to, like, it's not even just being here thinking about people that were here for a couple hundred years ago, but we're talking about people that have been here for, you know, for over 1,000 years, and I like that. Just kind of puts things in perspective for me, especially as I'm sleeping here outside. Maybe it's a little heavy for a camper and a night out like this, but I think it's worth sharing, because how many people can say like this spot, this cliff, for all we know, those tribes, when they would come in here during this time of year, they could easily have come over here and spent the night. Like, this is where they sleep. I mean, obviously not not in this current setup, but it's just awesome. Yeah. And it also kind of just reminds you too of like the importance of teaching people the history of the Passamaquoddy and the Wabanaki and the children of the dawn. But if we can take anything from them for this evening, it's just the appreciation of Mother Nature and the stillness and the beauty of being here. Because I thought that I lived in the middle of nowhere in Maine, but then when you come up here and you're right on the border, it just puts things in a different type of perspective. Like, it's a stillness that I'm not necessarily used to. Like, I like it, but I'm not used to it. Alright, so I have to have a light on so you guys can see. It's pretty dark now. But what I was going to comment on is, I forget how small this one-person tent is. Like, it's cozy, but it's so difficult to, like, move around. Next year, we're upgrading to a 2-person tent. Maybe a 3. We'll find out. I mean, like, this is it, folks. This is it. Alright. I'm going to bed. We'll see you in the morning. Sun's coming up. We survived the night. There's some interesting noises. I think it was from the campfires, but we survived the night. As you saw, a beautiful, beautiful sunrise this morning. If I had woken up a little bit earlier, even I was stirring, we could have gone over and watched it, so I apologize. But not much else more to report. The outside of the tent is covered in dew. I forgot I had to buy 2 tarps, not 1 for the bottom, 2. 1 to cover the tent. But yeah, so packing up and heading back to central Maine. So we'll do this again sometime. Hope you enjoyed the different type of vlog. Yeah. Tide's out. Alright guys, until next time. Peace.